morning's early light, by the creek where dreams take flight. Mountains dance with whispering leaves, nature's hymns put hearts at ease. Flag waves high in the mountain breeze, stories of old whisper through the trees. Eagles soar in endless sky, teach us how to reach and fly. Creekside dreams and mountain air, find me there without a care. Whispered secrets, flowing streams, chasing moonlit starry beams. Workshop nest amidst the wood, doing things just cause we could. Crafting tales with coffee in hand, together in this peaceful land. Fireside with ember glow, nighttime tales from long ago. Hearts are warm, our spirits free, underneath the old oak tree. Creekside dreams and mountain air, find me there without a care. Whispered secrets, flowing streams, chasing moonlit starry beams. Workshop nest amidst the wood, doing things just cause we could. Crafting tales with coffee in hand, together in this peaceful land. Fireside with ember glow, nighttime tales from long ago. Hearts are warm, our spirits free, underneath the old oak tree. Creekside dreams and mountain air, find me there without a care. Whispered secrets, flowing streams, chasing moonlit starry beams. Dreams and mountain air, find me there without a care. Whispered secrets, flowing streams, chasing moonlit starry beams.
We are muted. We're muted.
Holy hell, I pulled it, Georgie. Good morning, guys. How y'all doing, Mikey?
I'm doing well. I got my one of my merchandise shirts. Not all of the Warriors walked on two legs t-shirt that I'm wearing today.
Awesome. Good morning, chat. How you guys doing, Georgie?
I got here just in time.
No, you actually were like 15 minutes late.
No. 4 minutes. I was already logged in. I logged in while in the shower, but I was logged in.
Didn't stream with us while you were in the shower.
Well, I'm hoping by making some of the changes that Mikey suggested, I'm hoping this goes well today.
Oh boy.
I tend to forget those changes. What was that, Georgie?
What did I miss while I was
No,
doing?
not a whole lot. We're just talking about how we put the in the title of the video.
Lulu is home. She's finally back in the chat.
All right. Awesome.
Good to see her
Was
back.
she on holiday?
She was taking a break, some self-care. Well,
Good
Good to do.
morning, Lulu.
We'll always be here. Good to do.
Yeah. I know Tim's lurking out there somewhere.
he's right there.
Yeah.
I see.
Oh, wow. What do we got going on here?
I sent y'all all the documents. They're not in order, but they're there.
Well, this is your show on that. You do the.
I'm not
Yep.
ready to get into that just yet.
We don't say we had to.
I'm still trying to catch my breath from running down the hallway to get to the computer.
He's too busy playing on Skipper's chat this morning.
I said a few comments. Other than that, I wasn't really paying attention.
I seen you in there stalking him.
Stalking.
Stalker. Oh, but no, you're going to be the pilot on that. That's going to be your puppy.
Oh, crap.
That way you can't yell at me for going too fast, up or down, or not fast enough.
Yes, I am.
What did I
You will
tell
be
you?
the problem.
I got my video yesterday demonetized.
I did too.
It was because of the redneck video.
The redneck video.
Yep. The music that was in the bar.
Oh.
Appeal
Is
that, you'll
what
get it
got
back.
us?
What's that, Georgie?
I said, oh, is that what got us playing your video?
Yep.
Yeah, just appeal. Background music is not a violation.
Oh, you didn't do anything in yours.
No, but we were joint streaming, so it got us both.
Yeah, it was mine. I knew it would the minute that it popped up me inside the bar and I could hear the music. And I'm like, dang it, here we go.
Okay, so from looking at it, the only document that's actually important is the first 14 pages.
Right, that's what I was thinking. The rest of it's just going to be exhibits and
Yeah, the transcripts from the fleas.
right, that's not stuff that I think would be. We've already went over that, haven't we? Once before.
I think the only thing that's important in these transcripts is what Shockett has highlighted.
Can we have a moment of silence for the poor sap that had to transcribe that?
Oh man.
You mean the poor sap is in the chat?
Uh-huh.
So let's say a prayer for him.
He needs a lot of prayers, but I'm going to give some specifically for that.
I bet he had to transcribe last night's show too, because boy, were they talking shit about Shockett.
Well, I'll tell you now, Rocket doesn't go on social media running his pie hole.
Unlike
When are they going to start talking about the full bubbles and what he does?
Well, that's what I didn't want to say when it was just me on screen. He is straight going to be annoying this judge. It's like the judge has made it clear he wants them to work out differences, and he's not.
I guess I'm going to have to stop our videos playing in the background and just let the chats run because it slows us down. Yeah, Georgie got to see a very young Mr.Coop yesterday.
a baby Coop.
Well, a 12-year younger Coop.
Excuse me. I was listening and watching when I could. When you guys go on, me and a couple guys at the office, we always go to this one cafe on the base, and we always have coffee and sit and kind of talk about what's going to be going on for the day. And that is right when you guys go live. So I always miss the beginning of the show.
That's all right. You get replay. The beginning is you and her and I just warming everybody up that we're here, we're alive, we're going.
Saying our hellos and all that good stuff.
Because most of the time we aren't scripted. We just lead into it. Today
Seat of
we
your pants.
What's that, Skipper?
By the seat of your pants.
Yep, most of the time it's just us chit chatting like you guys doing at work at the restaurant. You know what I'm saying? I will never forget that. Old Pam, she named it just clear as can be. I thought she did a pretty good job. It's just like sitting around the coffee table talking. I don't think I could have come up with anything better than that. What you think, Georgie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all hear the cat in the background? The
No.
honey strut cat beside. Oh, Robert's saying meow.
I haven't, but I did get something in the mail. Something I ordered for Conspiracy Kitty.
Oh, how cute!
Kitty hoodie. I'm sure he's going to love trying to chew these up right here. Because when I wear a hoodie and he's sitting on my lap, he paws and chews on them.
I want to see you try to put that on him. He's going to be like, what the crap?
Yeah.
I think he'll like it. We'll see. We will see.
I know Daisy, she loves being put in stuff like that. Now, old fat dog, she could care less. She hated it when she was younger. But Daisy, she's got that short hair. She likes stuff like that. That makes her warmer.
I moved away from it, but I used to put bows in Glory's hair, and she would scratch them out.
Oh, wow.
But I'm trying to teach her because, when Marines that I work with, when they retire and stuff, or when there's a change of command, we have to attend those. And what I want to do is teach her how to salute. And the way that I've seen people say is put tape in their hair, and then when they go to scratch it out, you say, salute, and then they associate it, And the problem is, all those bows I got rid of years ago, and if I put tape in her hair, she doesn't care about the tape. But if I put a bow, she'll try to get it out.
Then use the bow instead of tape.
Yeah, I got to go buy some. So next time I'm at the dollar store, hopefully I'll remember.
Dude, that cup is as big as your head. That cup is huge.
I can fit a lot in it.
20 ounces, heck yeah. This one's just 32, and that's only 10 ounces bigger than yours. So, yeah, it's a good sized coffee mug. Oh, yeah. Sluggo. I sport Space Latinas. Crazy boy. Crazy. I've been spamming the chat with a whole bunch of links. What the hell?
Let's start out the morning with something good before we have to go into reading these court documents. I wrote a song for Mikey.
Georgie, skipper, making waves. Haters try but can't behave. Spreading lies won't bring us down. Together we wear the crown. Prestige on this crazy ride. Standing tall with so much pride. Side by side we're kicking dust. In our friendship we trust. Besties all the rest is strong and true. Can't stop us from shining through. No matter what they say or do, we know our bond is real and true. Dodging hate with clever grace, leaving doubters in our trace, laughing loud and feeling free. This is who we're meant to be. In the spotlight we will dance, giving dreams a fighting chance. Every challenge we embrace, together we find our place. This is for the resties, strong and true. Can't stop us from shining through. No matter what they say or do, we know our bond is real and true. Dodging hate with clever grace, leaving doubters in our trace, laughing loud and feeling free. This is who we're meant to be. In the spotlight we will dance, giving dreams a fighting chance. Every challenge we embrace, together we find our place. This is for the resties, strong and true. Can't stop us from shining through. No matter what they say or do, we know our bond is real and true.
I like that.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
I'm working on some lyrics for Coop too.
Yes, Mikey, share that puppy. Go for it. Go for it.
Yeah,
Hey guys,
Slug has a merch store, everyone, and I think we should check out the type of stuff that he's selling.
all right, let's go.
Hopefully, this is all PG-13.
But we gonna vet it right now. Ching ching, bada bing. Oh my. Well, it's PG-13, so we can check her out. Okay, I better pull that over here. I'm just gonna share that whole. Oh, what is this? Cancel. I'm just gonna share that whole window over there.
Jen, you got a fractured rib? Those hurt. If they're in the wrong spot, they hurt.
She fell twice the other day.
Who that?
Jen. I told her we was going to have to put her in a bubble.
Might have to order one of these.
Yeah.
I heart Space Latinas.
That's cool.
Good morning, Brett and Therese.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Man, we forgot to say good morning to the chat today. Tim, Roy, Jen, Madam Mayor. And if I think I seen Lilu in there. Tim, Paul. What's up? Miss PJ. Is this the only one you have over there?
May. You're
No,
in their territory.
What you got here?
Mouse pad? No, sticker.
Viva la Taxi.
Yeah. Yeah. Look at you go. Look at you go, letting that creator freak flag fly.
That's great.
Oh, here we go. He's got the mug too.
He should have used a picture of himself because he's Latina.
I just don't see it. I just don't.
He's
see
Latino. Latina is for female.
Whatever.
It.
Yeah, Latina.
Or if you really want to get him going, call him Latinx.
Good morning, sweet fly.
Is this the fourth wall too?
Eric, instead of soap on a rope, he has shit on a stick.
What's that? Man, why is my chat way down there?
Native.
Ooh, yep. Good morning, redneck. Sweet fly on the wall. Is this fourth wall, Slug or Mikey?
I think it's Teespring. Does it say in the thing?
That's what I'm looking for. Well, I think it is Teespring because it says spring.com. So it might be Teespring. Explore. Let's go explore. Well, that is explore. Homeware.
Good morning, Mr. Larry.
He's got a pillow. He's got all kinds of stuff in here.
The good thing, Larry, is you
Ooh, I
can
like
put some of the
those.
stuff up on your phone and just have listen in the background. That's what I do. I'll be working around my house or my office, and I put it up on my computer screen and just do my stuff and listen in.
Is that a blanket or is that the little tapestry thing? The blue one.
Ooh, that could be a blanket or a flag.
That's why I was asking if it was a tapestry or if it was a blanket. If it's a tapestry, that'd be pretty on the wall.
You know what's
let's
funny
just
is
click on it and see.
a friend of mine runs a charity that's primarily based in Palm Springs, and she gets tapestries donated to her all the time, and she can't sell them because most people don't have a big house to sell them, and she could get a lot of money. And I've told her for a long time, I'm like, just start selling the stuff online. You'll get your money.
It's
is
a tapestry.
It is. Squid, that is squid. Slug, that is awesome.
Now, why does that one?
Enough. You're in their territory, not the other way around. Lose your tune.
Oh, what in the world? Now,
So
is
my
this in a
husband
picture?
took in this female cat, and she is crazy. So she lives in the shop. She decided to come in the house today, and she's whooping up on all the animals that are in the house.
There's you some more, Georgie.
I like the blue one's still my favorite.
Okay.
Slug said he designed all those by hand.
I'll tell you, my kid is really into blacklight stuff. I'll have to look through stuff and see if he's got anything blacklight.
There we go. We have critiqued the Slugmeister. I'll pop a link to his channel to his merch store for the mods to play with as they please. Okay, mods, here's Sluggo's merch store. If you guys want to grab it, put it with your little file you have over there. All right.
No.
And
So I fell asleep binge watching some of the Huff's old videos last night. My favorite ones is them redoing the pontoon.
I did see that one. I haven't watched it yet. I do want to check it out, though.
There's like 8 or 9 videos of them doing the pontoon.
Okay. One thing I've always wanted to do is get a big log, like a big one, and then just whittle it down into a kayak. And then just after it's done, donate it to, like a Boy Scout camp or something. But I think that would be a lot of fun to do and to do videos on.
A Piro,
That would be cool.
like an old Louisiana Piro boat.
Yep.
If you've ever tried to get into one of those, they are a nightmare. They're worse than a kayak. I did see a guy on a video a couple days ago, I guess it was. He was doing what you're talking about, Mikey. He took a big, gigantic log and made a canoe out of it.
Mhm.
And they used a chainsaw in some of it, but most of it was all done with hand chisels. The big chisels.
The back my hometown, the Ottawa Indians lived in that area, and they would always do the log that was connected on the side, so that way it wouldn't tip and it gave it stability. Because they were always taking them out onto the Great Lakes, which I think about. I had a 17-footer that I used to take barely out into Lake Erie, and that was could get scary.
Sort of like a catamaran with that side arm out there on the side
Yeah,
of it.
it keeps you from spilling over.
Right. Now, see, putting that seat extension on my kayak made it too top heavy, and it was very, very tippy. And I mean, that's the reason I fell out of it. But you take that seat riser out of there and you put the seat in there the way it's supposed to be, it's not nearly as tippy. And I'm telling, just maybe 3 inches tall is all that seat riser was, and it made it so tippy that
Yep.
I went in the water.
I was at Tractor Supply looking at fishing kayaks one day. Well,
You guys got a Bass Pro near you?
it's about an hour and a half away, but we do, yeah.
They've got the old towns up there. That's my Cadillac that I want bad. I want the old town PDL drive so bad because it's my kayak's 32 inches wide at its widest point, where the old towns are 36, and the seats are actually up a lot higher. And with my knees nowadays, I have a hard time getting up if I'm really low to the ground. So the higher the seat, the better it is. But you can spend as little as you want or as much as you want on those stuff. They get expensive. And Native has a kayak that's really nice. One of my bass fishing buddies on YouTube, that's what he uses. But anyway,
I love bass fishing. I love freshwater fishing. Out here in California, everybody's like they either do fly fishing or saltwater, and I just have never gotten into either one. I've done saltwater. I haven't done fly fishing, but yeah, I really have always enjoyed freshwater, and I've got Lake Havasu, which is like 2 hours from me. So, but it's one road, so it's easy for me to get to, and that's why I want to get some kayaks and you know, uh,
now Greg, the guy I'm talking about on YouTube, he's a professional bass fisherman. That's how he makes his living. He fishes tournaments all year round.
okay,
He's out in California, and he does Lake Havasu, but he also does the Delta, something Delta out there, and it's he does a lot of fishing there, a lot.
I'd be interested because like there's in Hesperia, there's a lake. Also, there's Lake Hemet,
Mhm.
and then there's it's in Winchester. It's a reservoir that's real big, and I understand the fishing's really good. The bass get huge because they can feed all year round.
Greg is his first name. I can't remember his last name. It starts with a B. I'll go get his channel, and he's all over. Yeah, that's him right there. This is him. That's cool. I just leave that, and then anything I put over here. But this is his channel,
Okay,
and
I'll check it out.
he fishes a lot out there.
Yeah, I love
But
going to Lake Havasu. It's just a really nice place to go.
Blanchard is his last name, and he's got Asian in him, and he's just a really nice guy. He uses the Native kayaks. He's got some money tied up in that stuff.
Oh yeah, Oh yeah. That's
Yeah.
I had a friend of mine who he just decided one day he was going to be a tournament bass fisherman, and that's what he did. And his wife wasn't too happy about it, but he had already had a lot of money wrapped up into stuff. And when he started getting, like, he would get money in the tournaments and stuff, but then he started getting sponsors. Then she was all about it because he wasn't putting all their money into fishing anymore.
All right. Like Greg here, his garage at his house, it looks like when you walk in it, it looks like a bait and tackle shop. He's
Mm.
got all the walls just covered with plastic baits. It's just about any kind of bait that he uses. It's all sponsored by his sponsors. He's a big bass fisherman. I think you'll like him. But his native kayaks. Have you heard of Tiny Boat Nation on YouTube?
No.
All right, what it is they're a pretty huge company, and they take little John boats, those little aluminum John boats, and they'll transform them into bass boats by putting decks on them and all this. It's funky
Yep.
how they do it. Well, the guy who created that or started that company, Greg, takes all of his kayaks to him to have him outfit them with new equipment for his tournaments. And man, you should see some of the stuff these guys do. It's unbelievable.
I've had my family, I've got my RV and they want me to move it to Havasu. And I said, look, I will consider it. There's certain things I just got to get in place first. But because if I do that, I know my parents will come out, for a couple months of the year and just kind of be snowbirds out here, which I've got no problem with. But yeah, that's what they want to do.
That'll be great. But yeah, I do suggest though, if it's me buying a kayak, I would definitely go with a sit on top. The sit ins, they fill it with water too easy. If you get too
Mhm.
much water in them, and if you actually flip it, then you've got to bail every stitch of that water out.
I believe
Where
that.
the sit on tops, they don't sink. You don't have to bail them; they bail themselves. And there's some nice ones out there. I mean, you can get them pretty reasonable. If you go with like the Pelican brand, their Catch 100, it has the old Hobie drive. It's fins. You push your feet back and forth, and it's got fins under there instead of a propeller. It's pretty cool. Georgie, did you disappear on us?
No.
No.
I muted to cough and forgot to unmute.
Oh, okay. Skipper falling down a rabbit hole, are you?
I had somebody send me something. They want me to check it out, and I do want to check it out. They think they picked something up in audio related to the Hales case.
Mm-hmm. That's going to be interesting.
Did you get the PDF of the?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, she's got it. Oh, I'm going to tell you right now. I know Georgie doesn't have one yet, but I know you have one, Mike, the second monitor. Well, you've actually got 3, don't you?
Yeah, I've got 3.
When you screen share, take one monitor and use that and just share the whole screen. That way, anytime you pull something in, you don't have to keep redoing it. You know what I mean? Just pull it over into that screen and hit the little button over there, and it's automatically.
What I really like doing that I'm gonna have to start doing is these presentations, because I don't like how, like, you get like the edges,
Right.
I don't really like that. So I'm gonna start doing the presentation. I forgot to do it this morning with the stuff I was showing, but I think I'm gonna start doing that because I love that they added that feature.
Oh man, when I was helping Larry last night with the restream,
Mhm.
it just having this set up just was so nice to help him because He could see exactly what I was doing. We could talk about it. And then, yep, I was helping Master Redneck too last night. And eventually we got him to where he needs to be. We got some more work to do, but we'll be getting him going too.
It's getting him out of the TikTok state of mind into the YouTube state of mind.
That's what we were working on.
Yeah. And I got to start looking at if Rumble has its own quirks too. I have not gone down that. I was updating myself because YouTube has had some changes. And I think I sent you guys some videos of building your YouTube following, like some of the new stuff that YouTube recommends.
Right. As a matter of fact, I was watching a video this morning of an old boy. He's got 7 tips to set up your YouTube channel that you set it up and then it stays there in your defaults.
Mm-hmm.
He talks about the 7 most important things to set up on there, and he tells you the things not to do too, which was really interesting. So I will go grab that link and send it to you guys in Messenger, and you guys can check it out. But it's this is a new video. It's only been out like a month, so this is all fresh stuff to up to date stuff.
I just start pushing buttons and find new stuff. Like I just discovered the end screen that can be put on videos.
Yeah.
Where it has the subscribe button and then it shows another video or playlist, whichever you want.
That does pull you in subscribers.
Yep. And the fact that you can promote your videos the last 20 seconds of your video.
Mm-hmm.
I used to have that years ago, but then they've changed it. And since they changed it, I have to go back in and set it up again. Because it doesn't do it. It used to, that's the last, 20 seconds of the video. It would show my paracord jig video that I had for sale. So people could click on that, see what it looked like. And then if they wanted it, they could go to the website and buy it.
Oh, one of the notifications I got on our copyright claim stuff, it tried to copyright one of my own shirts that I tagged to yesterday's stream.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, I created this. I'm the one that owns the copyright on it.
Now, where you'll get frustrated is when someone steals your copyrighted content and they read it as theirs.
Right. I'll get this before I forget about it and send it to you guys.
I got all these people on X who I followed them back. They followed me, I followed them back. And then like a week later, they unfollowed. So I'm like, okay, I'm clearing you out.
I hate that.
DW said, be careful, y'all. Fleas are doxing on their live streams. Let them dox.
They're just getting themselves into legal trouble. I already have a police report on Robbie and Lisa. So they do anything to me.
Well, let them keep going, and one day they'll wake up and have about 20 freaking A1 auditors standing out in front of their house.
Sure would suck if all of us came together and went into one large lawsuit against them all, huh?
Yep, that would suck.
The only problem is we all live in different places, so we'd have to do it in federal court.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's not it. Well, where's that? It's not on my history. Did I just hear echo?
Suzanne, I was already doxed by morons. Yeah, you were. What sucks though, Suzanne, is it was the morons on this side of the platform. So some of the supporters are just as bad as the haters side.
Yep.
Now, if anybody knows, A1 auditors are not violent people. They just stand with cameras filming
Yep.
in front of businesses and post offices, police stations, stuff like that. In no way is anybody claiming they're threatening physical violence on anybody on this channel, this platform. Just so they don't try and turn that back around.
A lot of them are anti-cop, which I don't like. Like, I support First Amendment auditing and Second Amendment auditing, but
Right.
I'm not anti-cop at all. But I am anti-bad cop.
Right. And the A1 auditors, I say there's two classes. There's the assholes that don't need a camera put in their hand, and then there's the ones that do. The ones that do are absolutely awesome. When they go out there and they push their A1 rights, but they do it in a positive manner. They don't do it in a negative manner, looking for clicks and views. The ones that go out and they antagonize people deliberately to get the clicks and views, that's the ones I don't like. I guess that's got to be it. No, that's not it. I'll have to find it and send it to you guys later. I can't find it
Sure.
on the history. It's driving
Do
me
we want to
nuts.
get into reading this?
Yep. Georgie's just dying to read it.
Oh, not really.
I'm going to pull up my version so I can follow along.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm starting to get the YouTube burnout just from this case. It's so repetitive over and over and over with the same players that we already know what's going on. We more than likely know the outcome, and it's just like bleh.
Yeah, and you'll get that covering stories. And sometimes that's why you need other stories to take a break too.
Yeah.
But the fans will always be like, "Oh, we want to talk about this." So you got to balance it.
Right.
Yeah, sometimes we can, like when you and TC are doing y'all's veteran shows, I have to let the chat know, hey, know what the hell's today. Not today.
Yep.
Leave the drama at the door.
Well, it's like you and I, Georgie. A lot of times we might touch on a little something that's fresh, but most of the time we talk about other stuff.
Yeah.
That's one thing I love about doing with TC. He's got his stories. I've got my stories. We come together. Sometimes we'll talk about those stories and highlight them, but not always,
Right. That's why I'm like getting into the RFK stuff and MLK and the JFK Jr. You brought up JFK Jr. this morning about how some conspiracy theorists are saying he's still alive. I have the documents. We'll find out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's not alive. I've watched those videos and all that stuff so much. There's no way. I mean, they literally have photos of him with half his head missing.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty gnarly. And special effects back then weren't as good as they are nowadays.
Yeah.
So if they did create that, it was a masterpiece for its time. So was that 60? Was it 60? It was in the 60s that happened. Like, I can't remember the exact date.
There is one thing I would like to touch on before we start reading this. The BS that went on in Daniel's chat yesterday was absolutely uncalled for.
Yeah.
And someone decided to email him and tell them that I'm not protecting him. I'm not protecting his chat. When that's exactly what I was doing.
It's the same people who like going into these other streams and trying to stir up stuff.
Exactly.
Like, we know who you are. Other people send us screenshots. Like, and I've got no problem calling you guys out. Gail, Linda,
Eric,
who else? sweet angel.
I just wanted to say, look, I will forever stand up and protect Daniel.
Yeah.
And if those of you who don't like me don't like it, there's a door. You can think what you want to think about me. I don't care.
They're using Daniel is what they're doing.
That's exactly what they're doing. And also, I'm being accused of attacking Eric's wife. I don't even know who she is, nor do I give a shit who she is. So, there's that.
And it's Eric accusing you. It's
Yes!
like some people are just delusional. They see what they think they want to see.
And in all reality, what the problem is he's butthurt that Skipper quit helping him.
Yeah.
Now get it straight. Skipper had a good reason to quit helping.
Exactly.
And I'm not the first person that he's done this to.
It's the two-faced crap.
Yeah.
Of him going between different channels playing the mommy daddy bullshit game and then acting like your best friend to your face.
Oh,
Yeah,
that was Gail. That was 100% Gail.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she tried doing that. We had the screenshots of her and Spawn Troopers, and then she came into yours, and I called her out. And rather than address me, she went into my comments of old videos and started making comments there saying, I'm not trying to do anything. Bullshit. We know who you are. You don't think we talk? You don't think we compare notes?
Oh, yeah. Like, and I said that when I called Eric out yesterday because he was causing the drama in Daniel's chat. Yeah. And I flat out told him, stop spreading lies. I have all the screenshots. I've seen everything you have said about both of us. Mm-hmm. Enough is enough.
So did you get that out of your system now?
Yeah, and Mr. Harry said, anyone that doesn't like Georgie, then I know they're trash because she's the sweetest woman ever. And here's the thing. I'm sweet until I'm pushed into a corner, and then I bite back.
Yeah.
Don't make me put you in the corner.
That's one way that me and Georgie are. We're both incredibly loyal, but if you screw us over, we're done. We're done. You know, we've all had to talk each other. All of us on here had to talk each other off the ledge at some point. Like, oh, I'm going to light this person up, and it's no, we'll let it go.
Coop keeps both of us in line. He is that father figure that calms us both down. But when Coop roars, we get to roar. So we're like,
oh, they done messed up.
Yeah, we're in trouble.
So how much of this have you guys actually read?
None of it.
I've read everything except for the exhibits. I don't need to read those. I know what's in them.
Now that's the same stuff that was read here not too long ago, wasn't it, Mikey? This is just a response to the original motion, right?
This is a response to the motion, but Randy Shockett brings new exhibits, and pretty much two of them are transcripts of the Leech's videos where Bruce was on. So they do put excerpts in here, and we can read those. They are a little bit hard to read because it's a transcript, so it hasn't been scripted out, I guess you'd say. It's just a straight transcript. So it does have everything in there, but you know, a lot of people trying to read it found it difficult to read.
Right. Okay.
And I totally understand why. It's a narrative between multiple people, and it's not really even paragraphed out. It's just a transcript.
I got you. Just a bunch of words on a page. You got to figure it out yourself.
Yeah.
But here's what people don't pay attention to, like on the anti what the hell's ecosystem. Like Jeremy has this stuff because they put it out there into the public sphere, and this should show them Jeremy's taking notes. He is documenting, and will use that documentation to burn them in court. Why they haven't shut the hell up, I don't know.
I was just fixing to say that. I mean, it's like stupidity overrides stupidity. I mean, it if you know that somebody's got evidence on you, shut your mouth. Just be quiet. Don't say nothing else. But no, what do? They go the
They just
exact
keep
opposite
on and
way.
on and on. Exactly.
They ramp it up that much harder.
We do have to clarify, Eric Harold in the comments is not the Eric that we're discussing.
Exactly.
We're talking about Eric Miller.
What is
Harold,
the
you
name of
can
his?
be Eric Miller if you like.
I'm trying to remember what the name of his channel is. It's so many letters that it just.
87 LTN. It's
Yeah,
his
that.
call sign.
He claims to be a pastor, and yeah, I'll keep.
And just like that, we're moving on.
He has PTSD and it's untreated, undiagnosed.
Listen, I'm untreated myself, but I don't behave like that.
No, but so not everybody with PTSD acts that way, but when you have people in your life who also have PTSD, who kind of feed into stuff, it'll take you down in negative pathways.
Oh, that's very true. Redneck, don't piss off Georgie. I know that for sure.
Georgie feet.
Pico, legit. Yes, exactly. Really? That's men's feet.
That's your feet.
That's Mike's feet.
That's your feet.
That's a man. Look, you can very well clearly tell that's a man's legs and feet.
You're going to have to post pictures of your feet to prove it.
Absolutely not.
Oh, we can find them pretty easy on feet.com.
There's a couple of dudes who are creepers in the chat watching like, oh, yeah. Keep going, Skipper.
I hate feet. I even hate my own feet. Like,
Slug wasn't even in here for that. The poor child.
Now that's right up Slug's alley.
Someone
he missed his groove.
Someone clip it and send it to Slug.
Oh my. That'll be slug porn. Sending feet videos or feet pictures.
All right. Response to defendant's amended motion for extension of time, Doc 61. From the outset of this litigation, defendants have been
recalcitrant.
Thank you. Participants in discovery. Indeed, as shown by the plaintiff's still pending motion to compel discovery, Doc 52, and the response, Doc 59, defendants have provided late and woefully deficient discovery. Plaintiff has been disadvantaged by the defendant's conduct. Defendants now move this court for an extension of time to disclose their rebuttal expert after the time has expired for them to disclose their rebuttal expert witness. Doc 60. Defendants have not attempted to justify their failure to disclose at all, but instead request permission for an even more time to extend their delinquent status. Subtly, they alternatively argue that their expert is not a true rebuttal expert to avoid the sanction of exclusion mandated by Fed R Civ P 37C1. None of this should be well taken by this court. Plaintiff disclosed his expert, Mrs. Peterson, and his expert's written report to defendant's counsel on November 20th, 24. There's a footnote 1. This means that defendants had until December 20th, 24 for disclosing a rebuttal expert witness pursuant to Fed R Civ P26. Defendants could have timely filed a request for extension but failed to do so. Thus, plaintiff agrees with defendants that the issue here is governed by Fed R Civ P6B1B. That looks like that says boob. Extending time. In general, when an act may or must be done within a specified time, the court may, for good cause, extend the time. On motion made after the time has expired, if the party failed to act because of excusable neglect, emphasis added. Instead of disclosing their rebuttal expert witness and report on J2724, which would have been 37 days late, defendants now seek to disclose their rebuttal expert witness 67 days late due to excusable neglect. It is quite odd. Footnote 1 says, see email to defendants counsel dated 11/20/24, attached here to as Exhibit 1. Defendants 2 admit defendants are aware that they are already 37 days late in disclosing the expert report in this court. 2 admit they failed to disclose them on time because of the excusable neglect. And 3, instead of disclosing the expert witness and report late, ask for an additional 30 days to comply with an already ignored deadline. Footnote 2.
So they're a month late, and they're asking for another month.
They're just a little over a month late.
Yep.
Because the expert witness discovery rules are designed to allow both sides in a case to prepare their cases adequately and to prevent surprise, compliance with the requirements of Rule 26 is not merely aspirational. Cooper v. S. Co. A. Finding of excusable neglect under Rule 6b(1)b requires both a demonstration of good faith by the parties seeking the enlargement, and 2, it must appear that there was a reasonable basis for not complying within the specified period. Footnote 2 says, when a request for extension is made before the original time expires, showing good cause is not a particularly demanding requirement. See United States v. BD of County Commissioners?
Board of County Commissioners.
Yeah, thank you. Granting an extension for good cause when many of the impediments to timely filing a response were the result of poor decision-making by counsel, while others were seasonal circumstances that a party filing a dispositive motion on Christmas Eve might foresee the opposing party raising. Weingarten v. Optima Commune?
I think that's communes.
Yeah. The court may, for good cause, extend the time to move if a request is made before the original time period expires. In Re Four Seasons Sec Law Litigation 493, 10th Circuit, see Putman v. Morris, some showing of good faith on the part of the party seeking the enlargement and some reasonable basis for noncompliance within the time specified is normally required. There is no reasonable basis for defendants not complying within the specified period. Your turn.
It is well established that inadvertence, ignorance of the rules, and mistakes construing the rules do not constitute excusable neglect for purposes of Rule 6b. Quigley v. Rosenthal, Simmons v. American Airlines. Good cause requires at least a showing of excusable neglect, good faith, and some reasonable basis for noncompliance with the rules. Adams v. Allied Signal General Aviation Avionics. System Science Supplies v. U.S. Department of Justice. Holding that to establish good cause, a party must demonstrate at least as much as would be required to show excusable neglect, as to which simple inadvertence or mistake of counsel or ignorance of the rule usually does not suffice. Internal quotations and citation admitted. Excusable neglect, therefore, is a higher burden than good cause. Defendants failed to demonstrate good faith for not complying within the specified period, and there was no reasonable basis for not complying within the specified period. In their motion, defendants state defendants have been awaiting the outcome of their summary judgment motion on the plaintiff's defamation claims before determining whether they would need an expert at all. Document 60. As will be shown infra, this is clearly a misrepresentation to this court and should not be well taken. First, if this were true, why did the defendants not file a timely motion for extension of time on or before September 20th, 2024? The answer is
December.
because, what?
December.
Oh, December 20th, 2024. The answer is because this is not excusable neglect. Defendants' utter failure to file a timely motion for extension of time on or before December 20th, 2024 was a result of inadvertence and or ignorance of the rules and or construing the rules. Second, as will be demonstrated below, defendants retained their rebuttal expert as early as September 2024. This means this is not a situation where defendants are hoping they, quote, do not need an expert and an additional amount of time to find one, unquote. In fact, defendants have now demonstrated a pattern of not disclosing what must be disclosed in discovery to this court. The pattern is calculated to confuse, deceive, and mislead the court. The question is, will this behavior be rewarded or punished?
Now, see, right then and there, Randy just laid it out in plain freaking English. I mean, he's looking to postpone this and cost Jeremy more money. Period.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, how many months has this been going on that he could have already had this expert?
Tori said that in last night's show. That exact phrase, that was what they were trying to do.
Yeah, they're trying to bankrupt Jeremy. And see, that's one thing. If the judge sees that, maybe he'll step in and say, no more.
Oh, the judge is going to get impatient with this. Like, when you throw it all together, the lack of discovery, the depositions being unjustly delayed, and now this, they're just pissing off the magistrate. That's all they're going to do.
That just I don't understand. I mean, he wants to be something of a good lawyer, but yet he's doing everything he possibly can to make him out to be the worst lawyer around. I mean,
he could have just asked, say, hey, we have an expert, but we're not sure if we're going to use them or if we're going to find another one. Can we have an extension of time? And it would have been granted. And they probably could have gotten it till almost the summer, because this isn't going to trial until August. So there's plenty of time for, if you need extensions, the court would probably easily grant it and say, okay, well, we're not to a evidentiary hearing yet, so yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll factor that in now. But to be 37 days late, which is what he is, he's 37 days late before he filed, and then he's asking for another 30 days. And I'll get into, I think this has like a 50-50 chance of getting granted or denied. I think it's 50-50. But if it's granted, well, really, either way, I think the judge is going to be pissed.
They all have a certain amount of time they have to do something by.
Yes.
And it's like Bubbles stretches it out to the very last minute, file something, knowing that Randy's got the same amount of time. Well, when Randy files, Randy actually digs into it, and it takes him a while to write his motions because he's got other stuff to do. So,
and he actually does his research on other cases similar to this one to actually put them in his motions. Like him and Doreen do the work.
And yeah, you can delay. You can ask for continuances, you can delay, but at a certain point, the court, and this goes for all the cases, at a certain point, the court's going to be like, okay, that's enough. That's what happened with me. They kept continuing the restraining order, that the temporary restraining order I had on me. The facts of it had not been adjudicated, and they just kept asking for continuance after continuance, and we were ready for trial. We were ready for trial last January, and then in August, we go in, and they wanted another delay, and my lawyer was like, Your Honor, they've gotten 2 delays. We are ready for trial. This needs to go to trial. And that's when they were like, well, we'll drop it if you drop your stuff, which we agreed to.
But if everybody remembers, Tug called it, right from the beginning. They will fight this whole thing in motions, and by the time it gets to court, it'll pretty much be cut and dry. It'll be left in the jury's hands.
I think this is a horrible strategy because, as we saw last night with Bubbles' comments, which potentially could be used against him. I don't think it will, but potentially, if there was a call to whatnot, absolutely it'll be used against him. But you're just giving Jeremy more evidence and more opportunities. Like, with them saying, oh, well, he can't prove damages. The longer you take this out, the more chances he has to prove damages.
Yeah, that's like Jeremy keeps saying all the time. Why take their channel down? Leave it up. Because every time they open their mouth, they're just hurting themselves that much worse, giving me more and more evidence. It's crazy. I don't get it. It's
a bad strategy.
I've never seen anything like it. Of course, I'm not a lawyer and I'm not really big into the legal stuff.
I have seen it. But like it can be successful in certain things. For instance, I'll give you an example. The whole thing with Trump, his team kept asking for delays on stuff and kept asking for more time. Why? Because they knew that there was a hard date of the election, and if Trump won the election, all the legal stuff would go away. And that's what they were able to successfully do. Every time the government would try for new motions or everything, Trump's team was incredibly smart and said, we're going to need more time to respond to this. And again, they were asking within a reasonable amount of time for an extension, so the judge couldn't say no in any of those cases. Here, they didn't even ask for an extension in a reasonable amount of time. They did it 37 days late.
Right.
Suzanne makes a good point. He stalled out the case for 5 minutes, and look, Slug came forward and swapped sides. That's one person they lost in their ecosystem.
Yep.
Shara spoke out.
Shara's what Shara has is damaging to their side of the case.
Yeah.
Oh, big time.
Yep.
Who else are they going to lose by him delaying it more and more and more?
We got TC here.
Yeah. Howdy, buddy. Yeah, I don't get his strategy at all. I mean, I understand on a lawyer's point of view, he's doing what he can for his client to a point. But when he brings his course of action that he's heading down to social media, that's where I draw the line. I mean, he's ignorant. He's stupid. He's basically saying, hey, look, here's my royal flush here, Jeremy. Look at what I got.
I'll show some of my cards. Everyone knows because of my business partner and everything that I have access to attorneys for my show and my organization. But I also have a friend of mine who he's not just an attorney, he's actually a law professor. And so that I don't have to pay for legal advice, I'll go to him and say, this is not legal advice, but will you look this over and just give me your opinions and your thoughts on it? What would you tell your students? And I'm going to take this to him. I am going to take this motion to him and have him take a look. And I know he's probably going to say, are they trying to piss the judge off? Like 37 days late, are you trying to piss the judge off?
And this judge seems to be pretty level-headed, but he's only going to be that way for so long.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he already had to step in on the one deposition because of the attitude and the actions of Bubblehead, and Jeremy, but he's not already not in a good frame of mind with these people.
You can get away with some stuff. You might even get away with this. But think of it as every time you do something good, you put a quarter in a change jar, okay? And when you do something bad, you have to take that change out and pay off whatever you did bad. His change jar is getting very quickly empty.
Yeah.
Should we get back to reading?
Yeah.
In 2 videos on YouTube, now deleted from public viewing, but Jeremy's got them. But both the videos and the transcripts have been preserved by the plaintiff, are available for the court should the court desire. The former URLs were there's the URLs. Transcript from October 6th, attached here to as Exhibit 2, with relevant portions highlighted, and transcript from September 29th, 2024, attached here to as Exhibit 3, with relevant portions highlighted. In the YouTube video's defense counsel, Mr. Maskin said, "The thing is, as you know, we've expected this for some time, as you might imagine, because of the promo that dragged down a little longer than expected. It's just that it takes a while for the report to come. You know, the expert has other clients ahead of us, so that we're in line first, or maybe some trials or other things that demanded his more immediate attention. So but here it is, and now we're ready to be able to share it, and it's really necessary only because of all that's being said by him on the other side publicly. To so many people, it's necessary to to sort of fight this battle in the sphere and the realm of which it exists, and that's just not in the courts but on YouTube. And so, which, oh, by the way, this quote right here, if Randy uses that again, it'll be damaging for every time he says this is for YouTube content.
Oh, wow.
So when he will, it overlaps and interlocks. So the summary judgment motion was filed in response to try to overcome it. They produced their expert report with the analysis that claims, their expert, that Miss Preston wrote the signs. Well, then that's shown by the channels that propagate his side. So it becomes necessary not just to respond in that court, but also to respond here on YouTube, so people could see that. Well, it's not so, as he says, a little unusual, but like I said, this has to be addressed in the realm and the sphere in which it exists. Bruce, you got it. Yep. I don't know who got it. It's here. Y'all see. Okay, so several samples of handwriting have been handed in from many people, many minions, many people, and here's the forensic handwriting and document examiner expert report from the #1 handwriting expert in the nation. Now, I've gone over lots of this stuff, and this is about, Jeremy's signs, and here's a huge report, huge report. Y'all want me to read all of it, like all the little dates, or you wanted me to get down to the nitty gritty? Well, you read that's the same as last time, right? Like standards, parts, and all. There's a lot more in here, like tons of cases that he's done on here. Yeah, but that's like, we're gonna, yeah. We're gonna go over this and just get CV ready. Yeah, or just get CV. Yeah, okay. So these are, the signs that were scanned, and nasty signs. Yeah, nasty signs. Okay, so it's all in the federal court. Those guys, so I'm okay. Then we got this stuff here, some of Germ's plaintiffs, public stuff. So okay, the detail report is right here. So the documents examined were transmitted via internet and printed from an Epson Workforce Pro. The exhibits include 4 documents with the known handwriting signal of Jeremy Hales labeled here as JK, JH, K1, K2, K3, K4, and 7 documents with the question handwriting on poster signs labeled as Q1 through Q7. Okay, now let's go here, and now this is the same stuff explaining, the characteristics, including form letters, the beginning, connecting, ending strokes, things like out of how he does it. We've gone over this last time, all right? So this is a more detailed report, and we can go over, but you can pause and look through this or here. So the scientific examination revealed significant similarities in the question handwriting on the poster signs compared to the known handwriting in and signatures of Jeremy Hales, in fact, and the measurable distinctions of each letter, pattern, angle, and slant. The results of my test indicate that the same person authored the handwriting. What so here is, guys, because I read all this before, based on significant number of similarities of identical handwriting characteristics among the question handwriting. It is my professional expert opinion that the same person authored the question handwriting on the poster signs Q1 through Q7 Without a doubt, Jeremy Hales did indeed author the fake and forged handwriting of Lynette Preston on the poster signs. What? Yep. I have a duty to the court to present the truth and evidence to the best of my ability. I have applied this generally accepted question, document examiner principles, and methods reliable to the facts in this case. I am in state in a court of law, and I will provide to the court exhibits to show that my testimony is based on sufficient facts or data and that my opinion is correct. My affidavit and curriculum vitae are attached and incorporated herein by reference. Now, I can add that there is a gray, an analysis with the, remember hers, Diane Peterson's, where they had blowups? Yes, they were like, like how notations and points and lines, and that is in this report. That's not for public sharing at this time because that's for litigation discovery. Yep. So ladies and gents, but that's the conclusion. That's the bottom line right here. Yeah, ladies and gents, weigh all this that's gone on, every last bit of it, created for content, harassing, destroying someone's life based on a significant number of similarities of identical handwriting characteristics among the questioned handwriting. It is my professional expert opinion that the same person authored the questioned handwriting on the poster signs Q1 through 7. Without a doubt, Jeremy Hales did indeed author and fake the forged handwriting of Lynette Preston on the poster signs. What a piece of see Exhibit 2.
Pause. They didn't even send in her handwriting for the dude to look at. They only sent in what they thought was Jeremy's.
Yeah, which could be challenged in court as you had a preconceived conclusion.
Yeah, like you didn't even give the man your defendant's handwriting to go off of.
I think Bruce needs to teach a class on what not to do as a lawyer.
Yeah.
That's why I badly want to show this to this law professor of mine, and I will. He's just, I messaged him and he's like, I'm really busy, get at me later on this week. And that's common.
The transcript attached as Exhibit 3 reveals the name of defendant's expert, Mr. Kurt Baggett, and both of the videos reveal parts of Mr. Baggett's report. Again, recordings of these two broadcasts are available should the court wish to review them. These recordings show defendants publicly stating what Mr. Baggett's finding will be that neither of the defendants wrote the defamatory road signs that publicly accuse plaintiff of being a child rapist, specifically even accusing plaintiff of graping their minor child. In other words, defendants knew who their expert was in September 2024, yet believe they have the right to conceal it from the plaintiff and to this court. In rebuttal to plaintiff's expert, Miss Peterson, such a deed cannot go unpunished. Defendants asked the court to label their behavior as excusable neglect. However, this is not excusable neglect. Rather, it is ignorance of the rules and or a mistake construing the rules, an intentional delay. It is bad faith, not good faith.
Now, Sharon's got a pretty interesting comment there. I mean, this lady is Jeremy's handwriting expert, is known all across the United States as probably the best in the business, right? So how can Bubbles bring in somebody that's been discredited for being a handwriting expert how does he think that's going to help his case?
Their expert, Mr. Baggett, has been removed from multiple court hearings.
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
that could be used against if the judge were to say, okay, yeah, you can submit an expert. That'll be the next thing that Shaka will use against this guy.
And that's what I don't understand. In my opinion, bringing this guy that's been discredited in several courtrooms across America, you're going to bring this guy in as your witness against somebody that's highly accredited for handwriting, being an handwriting expert? It doesn't make sense.
Exactly, Kathy. Jeremy wasn't even in Florida when those signs were written and put up.
That's when they like to do a lot of their shady stuff. Is knowing he's not around. It's gonna come get him. It's gonna get him. Okay, I'm done interrupting now.
The federal rules of civil procedure mandate that defendants must make required disclosures at the times and in the sequence that the court orders. Fed R Civ P 26. Because the expert witness discovery rules are designed to allow both sides in a case to prepare their cases adequately and to prevent surprise.
Yep.
Compliance with the requirements of Rule 26 is not merely aspirational. Emphasis added. Cooper v. Southern Co. Tyson Foods Incorporated v. Ash v. Tyson Foods. Regarding defendants' argument that this expert would support their threatened counterclaim and thus containing new information, and therefore making defendants' timing would be harmless. The test for whether a report is a rebuttal does not depend on whether the report contains new information, but whether it is intended solely to contradict or rebut evidence on the same subject matter of an opponent's expert report. GLF Construction Corp. At 6, here we have not even seen a report because defendants have chosen to conceal it and ignore the federal rules of civil procedure.
So what that, for people not used to this, what that paragraph is saying, that if they were bringing counterclaims against Jeremy, they would have a lot more leeway. But they're not bringing counterclaims against Jeremy. They're just trying to rebuttal, which means their need for it is significantly weaker.
And the plot thickens.
In the motion, defendant's counsel states that he, quote, is not certain when the plaintiff disclosed his expert because the expert disclosure itself has no date nor any certificate of service. See Exhibit A attached here too. Doc 60 at 2 FN 2. This should not be well taken. At a minimum, this demonstrates
Negligence.
Thank you. Words are hard today. This is because, as shown, the plaintiff's expert report and disclosure was provided to defendant's counsel via an email dated Wednesday, November 20th, 2024 at 12:28 p.m. See Exhibit 1, a copy being attached here too. Much worse, the failure to know when an expert disclosure and report was received could easily be gross negligence and even intentional concealment of a fact from this court in order to sway this court into believing something different. Had defendant's counsel provided full disclosure and all information about when the email he received containing this disclosures to the court, the only conclusion would have been that defendant's attorney did know the deadline to disclose his rebuttal expert was 30 days after November 20th. The very point that defendants were overdue in their disclosure of their rebuttal expert was brought out during a court-ordered meet and confer phone conference over plaintiff's pending motion to compel discovery. This telephone call occurred on J9-25, and it was recorded with the consent of Mr. Matskin.
Boom.
This recording is available should the court wish to hear it. During this call, plaintiff's counsel advised Mr. Matskin that his expert rebuttal witness and report were overdue. Mr. Matskin replied, "Good for you." Wow!
Yep.
Can't say nothing. It takes some balls on Bubble to do that, knowing that this stuff is recorded. This guy, I'm at a loss for words.
Oh, this gets better. This gets better in these next couple paragraphs.
Oh, in an order dated J8-25, that meet and confer phone conference was ordered to occur on or before Wednesday, J15. As stated, Supra, defendant's counsel and plaintiff's counsel met and conferred for over 90 minutes on J9-25. This was the very next day that the court ordered this conference to occur. Yet, this fact was also conveniently concealed and omitted by defendants in their motion to transfer this case from Gainesville, Florida to Gainesville, Florida.
That
Where-
And
that's awesome right there.
this is why offline, Georgie, I sent you to do that song because when Megan and Tug read this, she was like, "Oh, I want a country music song about going from Gainesville to Gainesville."
I can't. Where it had always been located, filed J1425. And in order quickly denying defendant's motion to transfer from Gainesville to Gainesville, the court correctly perceived what the defendants wanted the court to believe, that the meet and confer phone conference had not occurred when it already did occur for 90 minutes on J825. Defendant's motion indicates Doc 54 at 15N1 that the plaintiff's counsel has refused to confer over the telephone in an effort to narrow the issues raised in a pending motion to compel. That had better not be the case, considering that the court has specifically ordered counsel to confer by telephone regarding the issues raised in the motion to compel. Doc 53 at 2. The court therefore orders the parties to confer telephonically or in person regarding the issues raised in plaintiff's motion to compel. Defendants conceded that their allegation that the plaintiff's counsel has refused to confirm the telephone in an effort to narrow the issues raised in a pending motion to compel was false. This is shown by defendant's response filed J2225. Upon issuance of Order Doc 53 to hold a live phone conference, the conference was scheduled for J9 at 10 a.m. Counsel conferred on the phone for 90 minutes.
Yep. So they're deceiving. Bubbles is attempting to deceive the court to show Randy in a bad light.
Yep. I like how Randy said, no, it happened, and it's recorded.
Mm-hmm.
But defendants in their motion to transfer from Gainesville to Gainesville did something very similar to what they're doing in this motion for extension, not giving full disclosure to the court in order to create an impression that is completely false. The court correctly reacted to defendants' intentional misrepresentation and concealment by expressing the indignation, stating that had better not be the case. It wasn't the case, but the impression that defendant's counsel was trying to convey was correctly perceived by the court. Defendants' attempts to conceal information from this court instead of providing full disclosure is unacceptable. It shouldn't ever occur, and now it has occurred twice within a month.
Wow.
Conclusion. Defendants have failed to meet their burden. This is because defendants failed to demonstrate good faith for not complying within the specified period, and there was no reasonable basis for not complying within the specified period under Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 26. The calculated actions of the defendants and their attorney cannot be considered to be excusable neglect. This motion should be denied. Plaintiff requests the right to file a Rule 37 motion if and when necessary. This is because defendants are not required to have a rebuttal expert, so there is no need for a motion to compel disclosure of something which is not mandatory. Certificate of service, February 4th, served this day on all counsel of record via email.
Okay, so
Pretty much. So this is how stupid Bubbles is. I wouldn't go further because there's emails and you don't want to show the people's email addresses or anything.
oh shit.
So, yeah, I would take that off.
There.
But this is how stupid Bubbles is. When Randy in November said, "Here's our notice that we are bringing an expert witness," all he had to do was reply and say, "We are bringing a rebuttal witness," and at least then he could say, "Your Honor, the plaintiffs, they knew I was bringing a rebuttal witness. I'm just having problems coordinating, or we're not sure if the one that we're going to use." And this would be okay. Well, I'll grant you the time. but he didn't do anything at all. I wonder if he even knew that there was a deadline.
With the way Bubbles behaves, I doubt it.
Get him, boys, get him.
Well, that and what we've already seen of his failure of understanding how the federal rules of civil procedure work, it just makes sense to me.
Well, it's like you were reading that part of the transcript that Randy put in that filing. The way Bubbles talks, he talks in circles. So
Yeah.
does Fleesa. They all talk in circles.
It's very narcissistic. They're
Thank you.
doing everything wrong, and then, well, we shouldn't be held to those same rules.
Right, and narcissists speak in circles to confuse the people they're talking to.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's exactly what they do in every freaking stream. They talk in circles. And the
And that's
and the you knows, and that's a narcissistic trait.
it's why would you not just say, yeah, what's it? We're bringing a rebuttal witness. Why not just say that?
Exactly. No, we don't want Bubbles kicked off the case because he's the best lawyer that Jeremy's never had to pay for.
We want him sanctioned. Like,
Yes.
if I were Jeremy, I would want him sanctioned for sure.
I have a feeling the judge is going to punish Bubbles, but I don't think he's going to kick him off the case.
I don't even know if he'll punish him. He might deny the motion. I can see that. I could see also where he accepts it, scolds him again, gives him a very short leash here on out.
Well, that's what I mean by punishing. Scold him, slap him on the wrist.
Yeah, but Randy's asking for the ability to file for sanctions. I think that's going to be about 80-20 against. I don't think the judge is going to allow to file for sanctions yet, but he will warn Bubbles, look, you're on thin ice, and if you keep up, I will allow them to file for sanctions.
I mean, he's already threatened to put him in jail once.
Yes.
For contempt.
Which is, you can get away, like Jeremy doing what he did at the depot, you can get away with that to an extent. But when the judge tells you, okay, knock that shit off, you got to knock it off.
Bill brings a good point. He said, I wouldn't doubt if Bubbles is being investigated for witness tampering due to him contacting Shara after her deposition and advising others not to show for their depositions. Honestly, I'm surprised Randy did not insert that here.
True.
And, look, Judge, not only is he doing all this crap, but he's also intimidating witnesses.
I think that's coming. And I think, because by doing this and asking for sanctions for what he did last time, what he's doing this time, if it brings it again, then it's going to be the judges more likely. And witness tampering, judges hate witness tampering. Hate it. Like, that's pretty bad. The judge has to be neutral, Lulu. So, and they will give attorneys a lot of leeway. So that's why I think, yeah, they're giving him a lot of leeway. And I think that's why I say it's 50-50 if he accepts the motion. He could say, no, you were late. I'm not accepting it. And I can see that happening. I can also see him being like, you're late. Do not let it happen again. And if it does, I'm not gonna give you any help. But I will allow this. And then, which again, it's not the end of the world for Jeremy if this witness is allowed in. There's plenty of stuff they can object to about this witness.
All right. Get them. Get them all. I'm done.
Yeah, Bubbles has said on the Fleas channel that April 16th will not happen. No sanctions will be issued.
Oh, bless his heart.
Again, again, you're testing a judge, and Judge Davis, he's already been unhappy with things that Lynette has done.
Right.
So uh, again, I go back to they were playing games. The judge allowed the continuance. He may continue it again. I would, a part of me, I'd even expect that. But a third time, no, no. I went through two continuances based upon the people that were, and my rights were being violated. And that was the big thing that my lawyer argued. She's like, my client's rights are being violated. We're ready to go to trial. What's the delay? Why do we need a continuance? And they couldn't answer. So they were, in my case, they were annoying the judge, and the judge was like, no, we're going to do this today. And they were like, well, can us attorneys confer? And that's where they agreed to drop the restraining order against me. So it was just a trick. And the thing is, you can get away with it short term. You can't do it long term.
Yeah, I heard that part, Eric, where they said that Bruce was a brilliant lawyer and Randy was an ambulance chaser. Really? Oh, and they brought up the dentist thing.
See, a strategy of delay would only work if you were draining Jeremy completely of money. Jeremy just bought more properties. He is not being yeah, they're taking money from him, but he still has income. He's not going to go broke from this.
Exactly. He has other clients, unlike Bruce.
I don't even think Jeremy has. I doubt he's even gone into debt on this, and he could absolutely do that. He could take a second mortgage on a lot of his properties and have potentially another $1 million to fight this case. And we haven't even gotten to that.
Robbie has already stated that he wasn't going to show up, so he said that on a live stream last week.
Yep.
That he wasn't going.
Which is completely stupid. It's one thing not to go. Out of all of them, Russ had the best response, which is my lawyer will contact you, but he doesn't have a lawyer. Instead of saying my lawyer will contact you, he should have just said nothing and then had a lawyer contact is what he should have done.
Yeah.
But most lawyers will be like, it's a stupid deposition, go. You're risking being held in contempt. And do I think they will be held in contempt for not showing I think the judge is going to get pissed that they didn't show up at the depositions and say either you show up or if you don't show up, I'm immediately putting you in contempt and issuing a bench warrant.
Gary, he also said he was joking. So
yeah, he said it immediately, so he's got a defense there.
Oh, you done?
no,
There's nothing in Florida today. It was all they have gotten a continuance until April 16th. I think both cases are April 16th, correct?
Yes, they're an hour apart on April 16th.
In front of the same judge, so the same delays. like both cases will fall apart as soon as this judge realizes that he's being played.
Shenemesis!
Here's the thing, though. With him renting his B&Bs through the app Airbnb or what's the name of that other one? Vero? VRNO? VRMO? Anyway, those apps, if someone rents that B&B and they cause damages to that property, not only can Jeremy sue that person, but Airbnb will charge that person more money for damages.
Yep.
I used to work with an Airbnb company. The husband was maintenance. I did cleaning. I was housekeeping for multiple properties.
Now, I can't remember who it was that brought that same issue up here the other day. I want to say it was Sharon, but I'm not positive. They brought up the fact that, okay, when you book through these Airbnbs, basically it's going through your bank account.
That was me. I was telling.
But who's to say they don't get one of the prepaid credit cards and use that
That's the thing, though. Their name is on it,
on a
and
prepaid?
their name is on the Airbnb.
Oh, so it doesn't matter what you pay with, as long as your name's on it, it's attached to you.
Yes, your name, your phone number, your address is on that app. You can't use a fake name on Airbnb.
Yeah, you have to give a credit
Yes.
card way before you book.
Yeah, you have to be verified through the app before it allows you to rent through that app.
And they will take a hold, which you immediately forfeit.
Oh, Lordy.
Yeah.
Even if you book it and cancel at the last minute, you forfeit. Oh, I see Gail's here. We were talking about you earlier.
Oh, Brett has a good point. You smart ass. I love you. Brett says, I have a statement to think about. I wonder if Russell plans to try to use the town's attorney if he gets back on the board. I'd be watchful of that.
This is not
Too
this is not
far-fetched.
town business, so that would be, and I would think that attorney is smart enough to say, yeah, this has nothing to do with the town, so I can't charge the town.
Exactly. But it's not too far-fetched either that Russ would pull some BS like that.
Oh yeah, I think he can.
And it would just be another thing against him with the ethics.
With the
board.
old attorney, yeah, I could definitely see that. Definitely. But that's immediate misappropriation of funds.
Oh,
Exactly, Miss Sharon. You have to provide your driver's license.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and
so
those of us that work for those companies that run through Airbnb, we have to go through even more.
Something happened. You sound really far away.
Me?
Yeah, you sounded
now
really
it sounded like somebody was talking in the background.
No, I don't know what happened.
But go on with your thought. We couldn't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Mm-hmm.
I guess I just wanted to cut out for a second. But those of us that has worked for the companies that rent through Airbnb, we even have to go through massive background checks and provide our socials, everything. Just those that work for the Airbnb. People who rent, which I swear by the Airbnb app, I refuse to ever stay in a hotel again after working in the industry. We have to provide our driver's license, our phone numbers, our real names, and the app will verify this person before you're ever allowed to book a B&B.
So, in my opinion, let the fools try and mess with his business, and it'll cost them dearly.
Exactly.
Say one of them idiots go in there and they just trash the play. Okay, they're gonna Jeremy's gonna get his money back, but that just gives him the opportunity to renovate, modernize at their expense. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Being that they have to use their real government names just to rent a B&B, and you don't just get, unless he provides a link for you to go directly to his B&B to book it. When you're on the app, you're just scrolling through and it shows you the cheapest bookings for that date. You don't know who it belongs to at that point.
I agree with you, Brett, that Megan wouldn't fall for it, and if they tried to replace her, they would try to get an attorney like that. However, remember, Jeremy dismissed his lawsuit. He could always bring that back. That's the other thing.
Yeah, that's
he
true.
can always bring his lawsuit back.
You talking about Megan Fox?
No, the attorney.
No, the attorney for Otter Creek.
The town attorney's name is Megan as well.
And that's where, like, Jeremy has the power. He could bankrupt the town. He really could.
That's the lawyer that Rustus us wanted.
Yeah, which is
Him
what
and Don fought so hard to get.
Right. They voted for her, and
Well,
it backfired on them.
see, they didn't think that she was going to be on the right side of the law. They thought they could just use her, and she would do whatever they wanted her them. She would do whatever they wanted her to do, and they found out
Tomorrow,
real quick they can't.
the reviews through the app mean absolutely nothing when the bad guys that are doing the reviews, you actually have to book the B&B before you can place a review. You can't just review this random B&B. That app doesn't work that way. You actually have to book a stay and actually stay for the time that you paid to stay. And then at the end of that booking, you get to do the review. That's how that works.
That's how
So,
it should be. I mean,
yeah, that's how it works. They don't. It's foolproof.
that's one thing about Facebook I never did like is the fact that anybody can leave a review. And it should be nailed down to where unless you bought a product from an individual on Facebook, you shouldn't be allowed to place a review.
Yeah.
Period.
Exactly.
Amazon wised up to that. You used to be able to review anything on Amazon, and they realized, oh yeah, we have to do this verified.
That's the way it should be. I mean, I don't know anything about B&B, so it's good listening to Georgie clarify a lot of stuff. I mean,
that's only because I've worked in it.
Mhm.
And it was always up to us housekeepers and the maintenance team to provide our owners with the damages or whatnot to the owner, and then the owner would go through the B&B app. And we had these apps that we had to use that was provided by Airbnb, but it was run by the owner. And anytime there was damages or stains in the carpet, whatever extra we had to do to keep it clean and fixed, we had to report it into that app. And Airbnb handled it on their end, and then the owner would report to Airbnb how much they spent to fix the damages and the extra cleaning we had to do or whatever.
So let's all pray that they do something stupid.
If they do, they're dumbasses.
I mean, just think about it. Jeremy would be the only one out of that situation that would benefit from them doing something stupid like that. Yeah, it might cost him a little time, and his, one condo or whatever it is might be down, not making any money. But in the long run, he's got a brand new, refreshed, modernized condo.
Yes, Miss Kathy. We always had, when we first walked in the door, we could not touch nothing before taking pictures of every single thing in the home before we started cleaning. And we had to turn in the pictures of before, and then we had to turn in pictures of the after. Oh my God, my phone stayed so full of pictures.
Here's the other thing people need to realize about Russ and Lynette applying to be back on the board, or in Lynette's case, try to win an election. They have to fill out Form 6. With Lynette, you want to talk about all these fundraisers and everything? Guess what?
Now, I thought they discontinued Form 6 in Florida.
Okay.
They said, I think it was last year.
They don't have to turn in the file 6 right now. That's on hold.
The Form 6, the judge put it on hold.
So it's still law. It's just temporary on hold with an injunction.
Right.
Yeah.
Which means they still might have to do it.
Because I can't see Russ or Lynette filling out Form 6 if it's still in existence.
They
Because
still might have to do it and just not turn it in until that injunction is lifted.
Because those idiots, are they going to take a chance on getting fined up to $20,000?
Oh, Russ has already taken the chance because he's under investigation. And that was 12 or 13 counts he has against him right now.
13. Jeremy said the other night.
Yeah,
13 counts.
20,000 times 13. It was 200 and something thousand.
Yeah, well, yeah. 20,000 times 13. Yeah, it's over 200,000.
If
Uh,
Form 6 is under an injunction, it's not gotten rid of. It's just being challenged. And
right, it's on hold.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's on hold by the courts.
But yeah,
That's why Russ is running right now because it's on hold and he doesn't have to fill it out right now.
Exactly.
well, you very likely have to fill it out, just not submit it.
No, they
Right.
don't have to fill it out.
But it's going to be interesting though. Now, did anybody ever confirm whether or not Crook was applying for a seat on the council too?
As of right now, the only thing we've been told is Lynette.
Because I know Jeremy said the other night that there were 8 individuals.
He's
You
got
had
to
Zim.
put an occupation. Is wino an occupation?
Yeah, I know
So
the other
we
night.
have Zim, Carl, and Rex.
Right.
And then we have Russ, Stewart, Lynette. Who are the other two?
We had that. We had them on our mind. The other. Oh, Don is
Oh,
number
yeah,
7.
Don the Con.
And then number 8. I can't remember who
That is
number 8 was
Russ,
because I clearly remember him saying there were 8 that
Zim,
were
Rex,
running.
Carl. That's 6.
No, you got Zim, Carl, Rex. You got Russ, Lynette. You got Don the Con, and you
7.
got
So who's
Stewart, and then there's one more Jeremy said, but I can't remember who it was.
Albert Fuller?
Doubt it.
Uh,
My question is, can a couple actually even be on a board together?
I don't know.
Um,
Laura is still seated. She's in the 2-year.
Here's the thing. That's not really a conflict of interest. So technically, yes. And courts defer heavily to if there's been a vote and the people elected somebody. They're like, well, that's the will of the people, and that's the way our country goes. So
Oh yeah, the drunk next door to the town hall is running.
Oh yeah. I forgot. Jeff, isn't that Jeff?
Yeah, Jeff.
The Jeff guy.
But when it's a situation of like you have the board and then someone who reports to the board, that can't be family because that's where it becomes a conflict of interest. It happens, but the places that do it almost always get sued and always lose.
Thank you, Brett.
That Michael Volpe, that freelance journalist, has just been caught on the fake page using a fake account.
Oh
How
yeah.
do they know it's him?
They used the name Tracy O'Neill and had a picture of a black woman as the avatar, and was, according to Kim, who posted it, was clearly a man and followed several interesting accounts, and Michael Volpe was one of them. So,
Okay.
Brett said Form 6, except for townships under 500 people. So Otter Creek will not have to do the Form 6.
okay.
I didn't know all the ins and outs, but I knew that Otter Creek wasn't going to have to worry about it. That's why Russ is trying to run again. If Form 6 was still involved, he wouldn't be running. That's the reason he didn't run the last time, was because of Form 6.
With Form 6, it all goes upon Florida's Constitution. But if it's anything like California or Texas, if it gets put onto a proposition for the state to vote on and the people voted in, the courts will not throw it out.
Harry, as much as I like your idea, I would not be caught dead in Otter Creek. No offense to the people of Otter Creek, but no thank you.
Well, I will tell you, when I was up there for the Railroad Festival, I wished I would have took more time to drive around because, yes, we found Tubetown and we found the Railroad Festival, but we never did find the town hall.
Did you dip into the blessing box?
Well, I'll tell you right now, they're all updated with brand new boxes. The old garbage looking ones that she had out there, now there's two
Gross.
brand new black ones out there sitting on the ground.
The fence is covered in cameras for them to
I
stalk
still
Jeremy.
laugh that they never covered up the radio that they kept. It was like such an easy thing to do. Just put a covering over it, and they didn't do it. Like, you dummies.
Yeah, there's something else. But yeah, we saw the cameras. The Ring doorbell is
When
right above the blessing boxes.
when they were doing the radio and they were playing the church music, I kept trying to call the radio station for the church music to get. They're like, "Yeah, would you play a dedication to Harley Grace?"
That would have been hilarious. That would have been
Stupid
funny.
Dave got pissed at that. I was
That,
also
that would
trying to get, they would take prairie crusts on air.
that would have been hilarious.
Stupid Dave tried to saying that was harassment. It's not harassment. You don't have to listen to the radio.
Their
What's
ideas
wrong
of
with
what
that?
things are just kind of wacky. I mean,
They don't understand the law. There are parts of the law I will admit I'm not knowledgeable on, but other parts it's like no.
okay, say for instance, the three of us, we're sitting here, we're having a conversation. We're just talking, we're giving opinions about what we think. How can what our opinions, how can that be construed as harassment when we're talking about between the three of us and not talking to them at all?
Mhm.
How can they consider that harassment? We're not telling anybody to mess with them. Matter of fact, we're telling people to stay away from them.
Yeah.
So where does harassment come in when you're not physically harassing the person?
It's because they have victim mentality.
Yeah. Harassment
That's
generally
overwhelming
comes with
syndrome.
overt acts. Now, I could claim that they harassed me when they were attempting to dox me. I don't because they actually posted a house that I don't live in.
Right, but see that would be a clear sign of harassment.
Yeah.
But
That just
just
happened with Reddit, with all these people as part of Doge. People on Reddit were posting pictures of people, giving their name, and then posting their addresses with pictures of their address. And Reddit, the DOJ contacted Reddit, and Reddit said, okay, yeah, we'll agree with you. They shut down the subreddit that was doing it, and they turned over all the IP addresses of the people that were posting because it's illegal.
So you filed against Robbie for what they said to you on their stream. What did the police call that after you
So,
filed it?
well, I still need to go to his sheriff, but for my sheriff, for those who are interested, hold on. I will give you guys can all do a, you can all do a, where is it? Oh, that's why. You can all do a Freedom of Information request and see what I called and talked about myself. And it's incident number, and I'll put this in the chat. Tango Whiskey 250280029. You can do your own Freedom of Information or public records request. It's actually public records to the San Bernardino County Sheriff and get it yourself. So putting that into the chat now.
I mean, I was just asking what they called it. And
Oh no, I want people to have that. I want people to know. Yeah, I did.
May,
Well, are you going to tell us what the police actually called it? What kind of a crime?
Well, they just took note of it because it's not a crime here in California. So I just needed a local police report of what the conduct is because it's technically harassing, but it doesn't meet California's elements. But now I go to Summit County, Florida. I'll be talking to that sheriff and referencing and say, okay, yeah, I did made a report. Here's the number. And now because it is a crime in Florida, they have to look into it.
Now, see,
thank
that
you, Patrick, for the $1.99 super sticker.
That I can consider what they call bullying, because that's what a lot of kids in high school were doing,
Yes.
and other kids were committing suicide because of it. And
Yes.
I mean, they take that very serious nowadays. So,
Well, California's law doesn't account for that, but Florida's does. You cannot encourage any type of self harm under Florida's law.
aha. So there is law on it in Florida.
Yes, it is against the law what they did in Florida, hands down.
Is it
The
crap.
problem is I just don't live in Florida, so they needed me to make a local complaint, which I do have proof of, as you guys all can see, and you guys can all you can all contact San Bernardino Sheriff and say we'd like to see what Skipper reported.
There you go.
Isn't it something like assisted suicide or something like that?
It,
If
you
if
can't,
you were to actually do what they told you to do, it would be considered assisted
it
suicide.
doesn't read that way. What it says is no encouragement of self harm. That's what the Florida law states.
Known, KNOWN, known,
No,
or
prohibited. No, no. So if you were to tell me, because Coop, you're in Florida, if you were to tell me right now to cut myself, that's illegal in Florida. No self harm.
Oh, wow.
It's not just limited to ending your life. It's self harm in general.
Oh, when you mean no, you mean no, you're not allowed to do it. No, period. Okay, got it.
Correct.
Got it. Got it. Got it. What in the world? I got stuff open I didn't know
You
was
would
open.
you would think with California being such a police state that there
Exactly.
would be something in California against that.
This is kind of a new thing. There's only a couple states that actually have that. Massachusetts, obviously, Florida. Um, I think Connecticut has added it, but most states do not have because there is a free speech component of it that can be argued. You could be like, well, I wasn't really breaking the law. I was giving free speech. However, when these laws are written, they're tailored to if you. It's kind of like anti-bullying. No, you're getting into you're encouraging direct acts, and for those people who people who say, "Oh, you can't yell fire in a crowded theater," they're wrong. That was actually overturned by an Ohio case in 1969, and that case says it has to be an encouragement of direct acts,
So
direct
that
threat.
would be considered what? Let's see. What was the term Jeremy used? Fighting words.
No, no. Fighting words is if you were black and I called you the N word, you're going to get immediately mad and want to fight me. That would be a fighting word. It's more along the lines of threats. I can say, in general, I can say, oh, Elon's doing bad stuff and he needs to be taken out and beaten. I can say that legally. I'm just expressing myself. Now, if I am posting Elon's going to be here, someone needs to beat the crap out of him, that would be illegal because it's a much more direct threat.
All right. Because I remember when we first moved back to Florida, we were staying at my sister's. My little nephew was in his little gang thing. Anyway, he threatened the entire family. I'll just burn the house down with all you guys in it. We called the police. Police said flat out, up, he can say whatever he wants. It's not against the law. But then again, 5 years later, if you just threaten a police officer, you're getting put in handcuffs and hauled off to jail. So how is it you're getting punished for threatening a police officer with harm, but yet if another individual threatens you with harm, it's no.
It depends on how they threatened you with harm. Did they say next time I see him, I'm going to kill him?
No, the little shithead said, "I'm gonna burn the house down and kill all of you."
That's still general, still very general. Now, if he were there and had a gas can, that's a direct threat.
All right.
So in general threats, and people say things when they're angry, and that's why the Supreme Court gives them leeway. Brandenburg versus Ohio was the case, and that was a Ku Klux Klan member who was saying, like, "Hey, we're gonna burn these buildings down." Like, it wasn't a direct enough threat. That's why, like, all the people saying that Trump made threats on January 6th, no, the Supreme Court would never, if he wasn't Trump and was someone else making that same threat, they would never ever take up that case.
Well, I listened to his speech over and over again. The man flat out told people, do not do anything bad. Do it peacefully. You know,
Sure.
he never said go in the Capitol. He never said to do anything violent at all.
He said, "Go and make your voices heard." That's not a
Right.
threat. Not
No.
a threat.
And that's where people like Bubbles are the same kind of people that were trying to prosecute Trump over those words. Bubbles is the same kind of person as they are. They're going to try and weasel around the actual truth and create law that's not there.
So Shelley's referencing the case where all this self-harm has come up. It was actually in Massachusetts, and it wasn't just that she told her boyfriend that he was better off. She was actively encouraging him to do harm to himself, and he did. So it wasn't just, oh, I told him his family would be better off without him. No, it was, they actually had worked out a plan to, and just like how with Robbie, it was much more specific. It wasn't, oh yeah, that guy needs to off himself. It wasn't that. It was, grab a shotgun, put it in your mouth, and pull the trigger. It was much more direct.
And they said it multiple times.
Yes.
And the case Shelley is talking about is the one I always go back to when something like that is said or done, because she was charged with, I believe, assisted suicide.
And here's the thing: if Summit County, when I do get the time to sit down and call them, if they choose not to do anything to Robbie, I understand that. They might say this is not a direct enough threat. I got it. But now I've got an incident report here in San Bernardino, and then I'll have at least a police report in Summit County, Florida. And here's where my concern is, because I did talk about this with my family when I was in Ohio. This is a guy who's already known for sending venomous snakes
To people.
around in the mail. Could he send one to me?
Who knows? Yeah.
So I want that history to show that I'm following up on stuff. I don't want anything to do with this guy.
You've got the paper trail showing.
Yeah. And I didn't
It
watch
all
his
leads up
show. I've never watched his show. People sent me the clip of his show.
Yep.
To be honest, I don't think them wackadoos got enough sense to do anything like that. They just run their mouth.
Yeah.
It's funny. They come on YouTube and they run their mouth, and then they sit there and look at, say, for instance, us three. Oh, you can't do that. You can't do what we're doing.
And here's the other thing. They always talk tough. So many of these people, they talk tough. And we saw that, with the other guy that was making the threats on me and Georgie. Everything was about tough talk. And I mean, he even got to, oh, you think you're tough? You think you scare me? It's like, where have we ever threatened to do anything physically to anybody? I don't need to do that. I can I affected him without even raising my voice.
Well, look at the Lees over there. All of their fools watching their stuff are just like shark feeding frenzies. They sit there and just eat every bit of that garbage that comes out of their mouth, and they keep them whipped up. Why? Because then 10 minutes in, they got them all whipped up. Oh, hey, by the way, we need $5 from each one of you, to buy us a new computer or something, or we need money to send Bubbles to Florida.
It's an absolute.
They've got the grift down. you got to hand it to them. They've got it down pat.
After all the stuff with David, I can't believe these idiots are still sending money. But what was it? P.T. Barnum said.
Yeah. A fool and his money is soonly parted.
Oh, I was thinking there's a sucker born every minute.
Yep, there's sucker born every minute. Yeah, that too.
I believe the worst thing I actually said when you and I was going through this BS is that Tennessee is a stand your ground state, and that if anybody shows up to my door, I'm going to do just that, and I'm going to stand my ground. That wasn't a threat.
Well, that would actually wouldn't be stand your ground. That would be castle law. Um,
Right?
and
Castle
I'm
law.
California is a castle doctrine state. Your home is your castle. Someone shows up to do harm to you or your property. Know your state, because some states don't protect property, just you. Yeah, you have the ability to protect yourself. Stand your
Yeah.
ground if you're off your property.
Well, it's also here in Tennessee, it's also the stand your ground. It means your property. If you're trespassing and you've already made threats online, because I dealt with this with that guy that we talked about the other night with Redneck Oogie. He threatened to come here and attack me and my husband.
Yes.
And
Well, see,
I filed police reports, and that officer straight up told me if he shows up, you have every right to do whatever you have to do to protect yourself and your children.
right.
And right there shows the distinction. He can say that stuff all day long. You can do police reports all day long. They're not going to act on it. But if he shows up, now his threats have become a direct threat.
Yes.
Right. But like Mike was saying, the castle doctrine, that is the exact same thing as stand your ground, but it's just referring to your home.
Right.
Where the stand your ground, you can be in your home or out in the street or down the road or wherever. But the castle doctrine, we had our old police chief in Plant City when I was young. He said flat out, if somebody comes to mess with you and they're not in your house, you make sure and drag them in when you're done.
Oh, we have no duty to retreat as well. So if
But see, since then the laws have changed. Now that you got both the castle doctrine and the stand your ground, you ain't got to drag them in no more.
exactly,
The
Sharon.
castle doctrine states your curtilage is protected. That's like the walkway up to your home.
Right.
Now, if you own a big farm and they're out on your out in the field, it doesn't apply. But the immediate curtilage, if you have a fence around your home, if they come within that fence, yeah. And that's how California is. I'm protected inside my home and on the curtilage. I do not have my property protected. So if someone is here to do damage to my property, I can't. What do I say? I can't use deadly force. I can protect my property. I just can't use deadly force. Now, if they start attacking me, deadly force is absolutely authorized. And each state is different.
Yeah, I was going
And
to
that's
say
what-
Tennessee, as long as the officers have told us, as long as we have no trespassing signs on our land and the people proceed to go past those trespassing signs onto the land, we have every right
and
to
that's
do
why
what we have to do to protect it.
people should actually look up and know what their state's laws are, because there's also there's 5 elements to self-defense, and some of those elements they vary state by state. Like, do you have a duty to flee, meaning try to get away from that person if they're there
Retreat.
to do anything to you. And like Arizona, there was a case of a guy who had a duty to flee. There was a guy threatening him with a knife and was out in front of his house, and he had his gun. He was like, get away from me, get away from me. Well, before he shot the guy, he did back up. So that was the duty to flee right there. And there were no charges pressed.
Yeah, back when Obama was in office, there was a guy over around the Tampa St. Petersburg area. And it was very interesting because he claimed stand your ground, where he clearly did not have it. What it was is a playground right across the street. A man and his 2 children were playing basketball. He came out of his garage yelling and screaming at them to quiet down. So the guy come over and he said, look, I'm just over here playing basketball with my children. The other guy went back into his house. He left the conflict. He got a gun and came back and then shot the old boy right in front of his kids and tried claiming stand your ground. That was clear and present, just unalive right there. And he's in jail now. He was in his 60s, and he's sitting in prison for the rest of his life now.
Maybe not. No, I do not need a fundraiser for a fence. I am going to put up a fence because there was a fence. It's still up. It's not the greatest. It's falling over. Whoever put it up didn't know
You
what
need
they
a
were doing.
wall, the biggest wall, the greatest wall.
That's actually what I want to do. I want to put in I've got all these stones around here, and I used to work for a mason. So I do want to build, at least on the front of my property, I think a desert wall would look really nice. So I do want to do that.
Explain a desert wall.
Just grabbing rocks from out here in the desert and then building a wall.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
A rock wall.
That would be cool. You got enough rocks out there.
Yeah, it's all free. The only thing I do, I have to mix the mortar, and there's to do that you need certain tools and stuff, which I am going to buy. It's just I've got other projects I'm working on, so I'll get to this.
Well, think about it. You just do 2 or 3 rocks a day, every day. By the time you retire, you'll be done.
I'll probably do a bag of mortar a day, and just mix up that mortar. I do have to lay a concrete foundation though first.
Now, out there where you're at, there's that place that's called Joshua Tree.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the places that live, or some of the people that live around that, I've seen some of their houses that they built off grid, and where they used the Coke bottles. Have you seen that?
Look,
Skipper?
he's fixing to you can see Joshua Tree from his house.
That mountain right there, that's Joshua Tree Park. That's how close it is. It's not even a mile.
Have you seen some of those houses that they built off grid over around those areas?
Oh yeah, there's a bunch of them. I've seen where people have taken bottles and put them into a stone wall
Right.
for light to come through. I've seen that. In fact, there's a really famous place in Pioneer Town, which isn't far, called Pappy and Harriet's, and they have that. So if you're building a stone structure and you don't want to put in a lot of windows, they'll take an old glass bottle and actually put it into the wall, so then you get colored light coming through. That's very common out here.
Suzanne said that would be so cool if big enough spaces plant like succulents. So fun fact, Miss Suzanne, that is what me and Mike originally bonded over was houseplants.
I'll take a picture. I've got my lemon. My lemon tree is about to produce. The lemon is ripening,
Woohoo.
and this spring it'll be moved outside.
Speaking of lemons, that's a fun fact. You know that most of your orange groves start out as a lemon tree, and then they graft the orange tree to the top of it because the lemon tree grows better in the sandy soil than an original orange tree does.
I can believe that. I did lose my apricot tree that I planted, and it was because I went on vacation, and the the water irrigation system I had, it failed while I was gone on vacation, so I lost the apricot. But that's okay. I still have my peach tree though.
What is that little? There's a little citrus tree, and they're only about they're pretty small. Have you seen the little corn dogs that you can get that are real small, and you just put them in the oven?
Yeah.
Okay. I can't remember the name of the fruit, but it's about the size of those little corn dogs. And we bought a couple of those trees because they taste good. They taste really sweet. And man, I wanted those things to grow. Killed both of them. Just absolutely killed. And the sad part is they grow here everywhere.
Berries grow really well out here, and when I was at Tractor Supply, I did see there were a lot of people with berries, and I have to set up a good irrigation system. What I'm probably going to do is buy a stackable washer and dryer that I'll keep outside, because rather than have it drain into my septic tank, I'll have it drain into the irrigation system. So then, I'm using what they call reclaimed water that you can't drink or anything like that.
That's what my dad had. Our washing machine was outside under the carport, and he had a water hose that stretched out to where our orange trees and grapefruit trees were.
Yep.
And that watered them all year round. And then when spring would come, the seeds that we had from watermelon the summer before, he would keep a lot of them. Well, when springtime came, he would just throw them out there around where that water hose is at. And our watermelons, we had watermelons year round during the summer. Well, not year round, but we had them all summer long.
The Huffs said they are doing pineapple plants. They've got about 5 of them.
Mama planted a pineapple plant, and it lived for a long time. But because there was no other pineapple plants, all right, bud, because there were no other pineapple plants that never produced because it was never able to pollinate. Thank you, Skipper, for coming on, brother. Appreciate it. Always a pleasure having the Skipper man on with us.
Plant Live laundry soap. I want to get into making my own laundry powders. It lasts longer.
Good, have fun with that. All right. Yeah, kumquat, Susan. I'm sorry. I meant to say that a few minutes ago. Thank you.
Mama Coop. She corrected you too.
That's right. Yeah. So they have a kumquat festival in Dade City every year. And we've been to it several times, and you could pick those trees up reasonably priced up there. And any kind of dessert that can be made with kumquats, they have it up there. And it's a good citrus fruit. But the pineapples, I'd love to grow some pineapples. I've got a friend that I went to school with. She grows them, and we've never had any luck with them. I finally just mowed hers over. I mean, shit, it sat out there for, 3 or 4 years, but it just never produced because it had no way to pollinate. Oh, youngin', how about you? You good to go for the day?
Yep. I'm tired.
I don't know if you heard me earlier. I went to bed at my normal time. I got about 2 hours sleep. And when you're in bed, you have to constantly turn, right?
Toss and turn, yes.
Yeah. So I went to turn over, and when I did, that sciatic nerve, oh my God. So I wound up getting out of bed at 3:30. I went and got in the bathtub with a rolled up towel underneath my back to help try and push the nerve back in. So I've been up.
The nerve or the disc?
Well, both. The disc, basically the disc. But when the disc gets pushed back in, it unpinches the nerve.
Yeah. I'm constantly having to pop the hubby's disc and get Mama to, wherever it's out at, if it's in your back, get Mama to sit on your back and push down with all her weight and to pop it right back in like it's nothing.
Yeah, it's lower back, just up above my pants line, and it's just like a sharp pain about 8 inches from my spine because that nerve just travels right over towards your hip. Oh, it's a pain in the butt. But anyway, I got out of the tub and then I started working on the computer. That's why I had us set up at like 6 o'clock this morning. Well, then 8, I went and laid down and got about 2 hours, a 2-hour nap. So I am dragging. I am really dragging. And Mama just pulled up. So she's being a bad girl. She's talking on her phone while she's driving. Are you there?
Yeah. I'm sure she commented after she pulled in the driveway.
Maybe she did. All right, youngin'. I think we're going to call it a day.
Alrighty.
Give them your spiel.
All right, guys. Remember, you are one of a kind and never let anyone dim your light. I will see you in the morning. Bye, guys.
All right, guys and gals. Chat, you have been awesome. Mods. Oh, top of the line mods. We couldn't ask for better mods. And if you guys haven't seen the social media sites, they are down below in the description box. Come over and join us on one of them, all of them, or none of them. It's entirely up to you. And with all that being said, old Coop's going to say, Coop out.
It's that time again, my friends. Time to part till next we see. Gonna sail on different winds, but your heart stays close, my friend. Distant roads may pull us apart, but our memories never die. Underneath the same bright sky, we'll be together by and by. Until we meet again, my friends, in the stories that we've weaved. reminds us that life's so fine.
Through the seasons we may roam, chasing dreams on a dirt road home. Every memory of our time reminds us that life's so fine. Farewell is not forever, just a pause along the road. Our connection we won't sever, it's a bond that can't unfold. Until we meet again, my friends, in the stories that we've every moment that we share is a treasure we can't spare. Until we meet again, my friends, in the stories that we've every moment that we share is a treasure we can't spare.